technology, no doubt, I think will continue to drive a lot of innovation and change, whether that's the retailers implementing it or the impact of technology in the hands of customers or other, business partners. And I think the other thing is kind of producing products and services that matter, not just products and services that make money. Again, it's linked back to my response in the first instance. I think companies have to think beyond kind of profit. They've got to have a greater reason to exist in order to have relevance, in order for customers to want to talk about it. Yeah, and the brand I don't think can be invisible to have sustainability. So for me, it would be those two things.
So we're already seeing online moving on to the high street. Ironic for us because we are not on the high street, but certainly digital going physical and also physical going digital. Mobile has obviously changed the way that people browse and the shopping experience, and I think you'll just see huge amounts of innovation in terms of giving people more choice and making mobile more convenient for them.
I think we've just started to see the benefits of what data can bring to retail. Most of the large supermarkets have customer loyalty cards and they're aggregating data about our purchases, but it's only very, very recently that they've had the tool sets to be able to analyse that. And we've seen how Amazon have transformed our shopping experiences through their recommendations and understanding our purchasing patterns. I think we're going to see that expanded out across the entire industry. And we've got some really good examples of how turning unimaginably large quantities of data into real business actions can transform a retailer experience.
So I'd say actually both in terms of, I think there'll be stuff around convenience and delivery, but also I think there's going to be more of a shift to kind of multi-channel. So there's been very much a divide between the pure plays on one hand and the store and the high street on the other. And actually you can see that coming together. You've got Amazon have started producing leaflets, sending them out to people's homes. The kind of looking at kind of other companies, Argos have been looking at how do you kind of blend that multi-channel experience? So yes, we've got the catalogue, but how do you overlay digital on top of that? And stores in London kind of using iPads to help people to shop as opposed to just the catalogue, for example. So I think there'll be a coming together of the two worlds.
I think everyone expects there to be this big, massive change, and I think we went through this. The high street is dying, and brands. I think those brands that believe in their customer values, they're clear on who they're serving and what their purpose is and the role that they play, will continue to succeed and have growth. I think those people that have taken their eye off the ball and focused on each other are the ones that will fall by the wayside. But ultimately, I think it will just continue to get better. It has to get better. People expect more. We expect it to have a relevance in what we do. And I think if that happens, then it will do. I think you'll get the odd online guys that will dabble in the high street. I think you'll find digital brands finding high street infrastructure, testing that out. I think they'll continue to push the boundaries for retail. But I think ultimately we'll just get to a norm where everyone can click and collect, everyone can compare prices, shop in store, better service, better experience. But I don't see massive revolution.
People want to, depends what you're shopping for, and it depends which sector of retail you're in. But I think if you're in food, I think people are looking for convenience. And I think if they're looking for convenience, it needs to be a simple transaction. I think if you're looking for added value products, then you probably want more of an experience and you want to be immersed in the brand or the associated benefits with that brand. And I think there's something about trying first before buying. But then if you're buying online, I think it needs to be really simple to return the product. And you need to be able to take chances because you clearly can't try the product, but be able to seamlessly return the product if it's not right.
We've talked a lot about fulfilment in this session. I think that's an area I'm really passionate about, and I think it's an area where there's going to be sudden and quite disruptive change. There's, in fact, when you dragged me away from the discussion, the point I was going to make, we were just talking about Amazon. and sort of what they have or haven't achieved, a couple of decades now of trading. What's interesting, if you look at some of the reports recently at Amazon, is the amount of capital expenditure they're putting into their distribution centres. They're still on the rise, exponential. So for them, they've only just begun looking at, here's our footprint, and what are they going to do with that footprint? The vision being that most of us are within such a short distance in terms of miles from a fulfillment centre that they will be getting stuff to us as soon as automation kicks in. Think robots or drones or mix, or all those scary words that people are slightly uncomfortable with right now. Once legislation is at a point, and once you and I as a consumer are at a point where we're comfortable with that stuff, then that will really, really change the game. There will be things that will arrive in our back garden or our sort of rooftop, if we're in a penthouse, whatever it might be, within 20 to 30 minutes. So that's the time it might take to, you know, get your coat on, get down a lift, go into the store, have a look at something. By the time you've done that, this thing is with you. And of course, it will do returns as well. So you start to think about what that means, a network of things happening at a very, very low cost. No people costs, just some infrastructure and some IT. And we're a little way away from that right now, but it's coming. And I think that will be incredible. And it links back to this 5 billion people coming online. For some of those guys, it might be the only way to get stuff to them. There isn't great infrastructure on highways and good roads and good transportation, but if you fly something in, and businesses like ourselves and Facebook as well, but we're trialling sort of vertical takeoff drones, which will manage to get into the wilderness of Australia and back within an hour or two, dropping off medical supplies into a place that could be very hard to reach if you didn't have, let's say, a helicopter. Very expensive to have a helicopter, not expensive to have an aircraft about this big. The fuel is minimal, the infrastructure is minimal, you just need some clever guys and some clever algorithms, and that's really exciting.